Hello and welcome back to yet another Saturday episode of Bobson Rants while playing Team Fortress 2 badly. So what is it I want to talk about this week while I am playing? Let's see. Well, what I kind of want to talk about is something I was talking about a couple weeks ago, which is No Man's Sky. If you were watching, I think it was 2 weeks ago when No Man's Sky came out, I actually was talking about it in one of my videos, one of my ranting videos, and I talked about how it looked interesting, it looked fun. I was talking about the various gameplay elements that I had seen and heard about, and how much I was looking forward to it. I had not played it. It was just about to release on Steam, and I was looking forward to it. It looked interesting, it looked fun. But over the past few weeks, it has gone down in my list of games I kind of want to play, simply because it looks boring. I mean, like I said, I have not played it. I did not get it. One of the main reasons because it was just slightly above my system specs to really reliably play it, and more importantly record it, because it was one of those games I had on my wish list on Steam, and I potentially wanted to get it and do like videos of it for my channel, but unfortunately it does not look like it's nearly as good as it was hyped to be. Because for the past few months it has been hyped to holy hell, and I've seen news stories about it, I've seen posts about it, I've seen tons of stuff about it on various sites like Yahoo and MSN and all these other places of people talking about it. And I actually mentioned it in the video, saying I wonder if it was just Sony hyping it and doing paid content advertisement and stuff like that. And I really do think that's exactly what it was, because the company that made it was partnered with Sony, and I really do think Sony's hype train just left the station and plastered it every single where they could, and paid as many writers as they could to have it put everywhere they could get it. And it worked, because it sold a lot of copies. It was very popular. It was highly recommended, and everyone was really looking forward to it. But over the past few weeks, it's just fallen flat, kind of. Because, like I was talking about in the previous couple weeks ago, the gameplay itself is kind of a mixture of different games that have already been around for a while. It's just open world exploration, randomly generated worlds, resource gathering, slight levels of crafting, and basically it's an exploration game where you just start off on this one planet on your ship that's crashed. You just have to gather some resources, craft a few pieces to fix your ship, and then you take off and go out and explore the solar system, and you go to the next planet, and you basically rinse and repeat. You do a little bit of exploring, you maybe catalog some life forms, and you search for materials to get your ship repaired until you find an alien guy in his own little base, and you talk to him, and you get blueprints and stuff, you buy stuff from him, you trade, and you eventually learn their languages and stuff like that. But that's just a small part of the game. The very heart of the game, the meat and potatoes of the gameplay, is just going from planet to planet, gathering a little bit of resources to keep your ship going, keep your armor going, keep your multi-tool going, and repairing and just getting slight upgrades here and there. And that's basically it. You go from planet to planet, you just keep rinsing and repeating that same formula over and over again. Now, like I said, I have not played the game, but I have watched some people on YouTube playing it. The people like Sips, who had a nice series on it. And like Sips, he can make any game fun, even a boring game. And I hate to say it, but No Man's Sky looks fairly boring. At least the early game. And that's the word. It needs to be the most fun. It needs to be what hooks you into wanting to play. But from what I have seen, from what I have watched in people's videos, the early game is kind of just repetitive, boring stuff. After the first hour of wandering around a planet, gathering resources just to repair your ship, finally getting on your ship and going off into space to explore and find other planets, only to do the exact same thing you just finished an hour doing on the first planet is kind of pointless. I mean, it just strikes me as a bit boring. And yeah, apparently that's the entire game. Well, for the most part, at least for the first few hours of gameplay that I've watched of people playing it, that's all they're really doing is walking around planets, gathering some resources, cataloging new resources, cataloging alien life forms, and just running around meeting new aliens and trying to learn their language. And I find it sad that that's really what the game became. I mean, with all the hype, all the talk of it, all the people on various places that I saw it being talked about, is just so disappointing that it was all just hype. And the game itself is so disappointing. And apparently people have already made it to the end of the game, to the center of the galaxy, and that was the biggest disappointment they've had so far. Because apparently it's not quite as exciting, it's not as climactic as you would hope for in such a massive, sprawling game that this is supposed to be. I mean, that was the entire selling point of the game, was that it was this huge, galaxy-spanning game with trillions of planets you could potentially find and explore, and all of them were randomly generated, all of them were unique, and they would never find two planets that were exactly alike. But yeah, that's the entirety of the game. That's it. And when you get to the center, people were expecting this huge mystery, this weird thing, this thing that would make it all worthwhile, and they were fairly disappointed by it, apparently. So, yeah. It's just sad, because this game had so much potential, so much hype around it, all the various elements that were being talked about, the randomly generated worlds, the massive, expansive universe, could have been so much better. But some stuff was just missing. And like I talked about before, all the elements in this game were used before. They were used in previous games, randomly generated worlds, open world exploration, resource gathering, all that kind of stuff has been done before, but the addition of the fact that it is so many worlds, so many planets and star systems you could go out and explore, added a new dimension to it, but it's sad that it kind of fell flat. And yeah, I'm just glad I didn't waste $60 on this game, because holy crap, I would have been slightly annoyed by it and fairly bored after the first few hours. Just watching people playing it was a bit boring after the first few hours. So yeah, I'm just glad I didn't waste that $60 on a game like this, and I feel sorry for anyone who did and was fairly disappointed by the repetitive gameplay and lack of real ending. I mean, there is potential for it to be updated, to upgraded, and having more content added to it, but unless they do, I don't really see myself buying it or playing it. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that because over the past few weeks, that's been kind of developing with that game. After so long, so much hype, that's kind of just the state that it's currently at. And yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that. So yeah, anything else happening? Gameplay, game related. Well, last week, there was this huge game that was released. What was it, last week or the week before? Pokemon Uranium, which was this fan-made game that took like 9 years to put together. It was built in the RPG Maker thing, the RPG Maker, and it was basically a fan-made Pokemon game. And they spent 9 years making this, 9 years putting it together, and it was finally released. And there was huge amount of hype around it. People have been waiting years to play this, have been waiting a long time to play it and have fun with it, and it was finally done, finally released last week or the week before, and almost immediately it was shut down by Nintendo. I mean, 9 years in development, 9 years they've been working on it, and they wait until after it's released to shut it down. I mean, that's freaking hilarious. This was not a paid game. They weren't selling it. I don't think they were selling. Were they selling it? I thought it was like a free release they were putting up for download. Anyone could download, anyone could play it for free. So it's not like they were making money off of it. Or at least I don't think they were making money off of it. If they were, tell me now and correct me in the comments. But I don't think they were making money off of it. It was just a fan project they had put out. And Nintendo just shut them down. They just, after all this time, all this effort put into this game, Nintendo just shut it down. And that was after it had already been downloaded like 1.5 million times or something like that before it was actually shut down. So, yeah, 9 years of work, 9 years of waiting, and it's already gone. And that's sad. But this is the kind of stuff that happens a lot. You see fan-made games, fan-made projects that get shut down by big companies simply because it's an infringement on their copyright. It infringes on their intellectual properties. And a similar thing happened not long ago with one of the Star Wars games. What was it, Star Wars Battlefront? Or what was it? There was a fan-made remake of one of the old Star Wars games. I don't know if they remade it to make it better, fix some of the bugs, or just bring it back so people could play it. But that was also shut down by the Star Wars companies and Disney and like that. But yeah, it's sad when that kind of thing happens. So much time, so much effort, so much passion from the community to do something like this, and then it just gets shut down. I mean, just look what happened. I wish they would take a more open approach to it, something like what Valve did. I mean, just look what Valve did when fans tried to remake the original Half-Life. They actually remade Half-Life, the original Half-Life, in the Source 2 engine, in the new Source engine, the engine that the Half-Life 2 was made in, and Black Mesa was the result. Valve did not shut down Black Mesa. They did not shut down the project. They did not wait until it was almost done and ready to be released, then shut it down. They actually partnered with these people. They partnered with the fans that were making with this and actually allowed them to release it on Steam. They literally allowed it to be released on Steam alongside the original, alongside their games, alongside on their platform, on their release platform of Steam. And that is beautiful. That is wonderful. I love that. That's one of the reasons I love Valve. They do stuff like that. They actually like their fans. And fan projects like that, they actually listen to the fans and they let their fans do that kind of stuff. Whereas Nintendo wait 9 years after it's been after 9 years of work, wait for it to be released and then just shut it down. And I'm not even a Pokemon fan. I don't even like Pokemon. Let me say that right now. When Pokemon first came out, I was slightly beyond the target demographic. I was slightly older than the age group it was really targeted at. So I never really got into the Pokemon games or the card games or the cartoons. In fact, I hated the cartoons. The anime that was coming on TV, I hated that. I really did. I hated the characters. I hated the main character. I really did. And I just never liked Pokemon. But the fact that they waited so long to shut down this project, after so much time, so much effort, so much work that was put into it, it's just bad. It's just sad, really. It's really, really sad that they did that. And I really feel bad for the people who spent so much time, put so much work, so much love and attention into this fan-made project, only to have it shut down shortly afterwards. And yeah, it's just something that happens. It happens with many games, with many fan projects like this. I mean, just look what happened to World of Warcraft and the Nostalgia servers, the private servers like that. That happened, what was it, last year, earlier this year, last year, whatever it was. And yeah, it's just something that happens. And I can understand their perspective. They want to protect their intellectual property. These fans were putting out a game, an entire game, using the name Pokemon, using their intellectual property, and even if it is original characters they're using and original stuff they're using, it's still their property, their trademark, and they have to protect it. They have to maintain quality control, and they can't really have something like that out there that could be confused with something they officially released. I mean, for all you know, Pokemon Uranium had random nudity in it, and if that got out and parents got pissed off, they would blame Nintendo for it because their kids were playing a game with random nudity in it. And that's the kind of thing that could happen. That's the kind of thing that does happen with fan-made stuff, fan art, and fan stuff. I mean, just look for it and you can find that kind of crap out there. So yeah, they don't want anything that could potentially be confused as officially released content to be traced back to them and them being blamed for it. So they have to keep tight quality control on anything like that. So I can understand their perspective, but it's still sad that it was shut down. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's it. That's enough for this week, I guess. I'm just ranting about random stuff that doesn't really matter, I guess. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been another episode of Bobson Rants about No Man's Sky and Pokemon games and other random crap. I don't even know why I'm talking about it, but I am. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you later for another episode of Bobson Rants next week. So stay tuned. Anyway, bye.